family, but I felt like I need to show them that being an only child is not a disadvantage. She was unnecessarily, she pressured herself too much because of not having another child. 16, I was ready to marry because everybody was saying, you're the only child, you need to give your children, your parents grandchildren.
Wow.
So like I knew that there was no wasting time. At 21, I already had somebody that gave me engagement rings. Like I had 3 engagement rings. There are there are lots of tears in it. There are moments when I just feel like, is it because I'm so open to feedback that you just give it to me like that? But even in those moments, even in my tears, even I had a miscarriage. It was bad. After
Before
my
the twins?
Before the twins I was still very small. I didn't really understand. But after the twins, I had another one. And when I went to do the test, you know what? Like I've had twins. I prayed for twin boys, and I had twin boys. So I'm like, I don't want to get pregnant so soon. I did family planning, waited 3 years. Then I said, now I'm ready. I removed family planning. I prayed before removing, prayed after removing, fasted, named my child. Then I got pregnant. Like, you know, when God just
everything just aligning.
Oh. Then I went to do tests and they said blighted ovum. There's no baby there. I'm not understanding. No. She now told me that I should not worry. That there's nothing God cannot do. That she has told God that she's not doing any IVF again. No. That if God does not give her
natural pregnancy, she's done.
She was done. So she wasn't doing it again. That she has told God. So I went back home and I said, see, this is a woman much older than me. She has not had any child, and she's telling God, I will serve you, I will love you. Like that was what she was telling me. I will serve God, I will love God. If he doesn't give me any child, I will be okay. And me, I was busy negotiating with God. Like
you just be feeling guilty.
I came back home too and just told God that, see, I will serve you, I will love you. Doesn't matter. And the next month I took him.
Can you imagine?
And 2 months after, she
surrender.
took him. It was a miracle. The doctors were like, they should do another IVF because they've done several surgeries on her. They said it was impossible for her to have a child biologically normally. It has to be only IVF. And she said she had done several IVFs. It's failed. She would even get pregnant. She would lose the pregnancy. She was like, she's done. And I had that conversation that she said she was done. And if less than 3 months after, she got pregnant. Bro, stories of people who they prayed, they had God, but it was God used the IVF for them. So I know that there is God in IVF, and so if money is the only reason you're not able to do it, then money should not be the reason you don't have a child.
Guys, welcome back to season 3 of How They Healed. If you're wondering what season 1 and 2 is, it's on this YouTube channel. Just scroll to the playlist of How They Healed. You can watch season 1 and 2. How They Healed was created because I healed from having a child at 19, 14 heartbreaks, 15 abortions, and a divorce. Today, I'm a cognitive behavioral therapist and a family life coach. I help people heal from trauma, emotional pain, dysfunction for a greater life of abundance and meaning. So, subscribe to this channel so that you can be the first to watch when a new episode drops. Stay tuned. Hi guys, welcome to How They Heal. It's another episode and I'm so excited to have you guys here. On How They Heal, you know that we bring our guests to share their journey of healing, resilience, growth, so that we can take you from a place of pain to a place of power. And as usual, before I forget, I'm your host, Lara Kudaisi Don Momo. And today I have a scintillating guest in my studio. You know, this woman is always on TV. She's the one who does the asking of the questions. But today, she's on the other side of the seat. And ladies and gentlemen, join me as we welcome Tope Ma Odije.
Yay! Welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. I really, really appreciate it. And so, on How They Healed, we go to the beginning of your journey, of your story. So I want to ask you the first question. What kind of a child were you?
I think I was a child that was very vocal. in the early developmental stage, I was always talking, I was always asking questions, and then I grew out of it. I was cautioned out of it, like I was shut down. So I went from being a bit more sanguine to being a bit more melancholy. By the time I was doing a lot of self-development in my just about being 30, I realized all my checks were saying san male, and it was very strange for people because they see the san part of me, sanguine. They don't see
the
that
male.
I'm very
Male.
male. Like so, growing up, I didn't understand myself. Like, why could you be so exciting in 1 minute and then you just go all moody and you don't want to talk to anybody? You just want to be by yourself. Like, you don't really send anybody. Like, you just want to. That was my childhood. So at that point, I think maybe going to boarding house took it out of me, because I went into boarding house, and for someone who was always sheltered, only child, all of that kind of thing, then you go into boarding house and you are through. It's like they just landed you inside the lion's den, and they were just taking their bite out of every insult possible, every yab, every you're talking too much because you're tall, because you speak English. I went to a private school in primary school, and then I went to a government secondary school in my GS 1 to 3. So they just felt like, and I didn't understand Yoruba, and then my school was in Ayetoro. So it was like, so you be saying you don't understand Yoruba, and like you're doing Yoruba. So they were just pouring out all their insecurities on me,
you.
and I just shrunk and shrunk and shrunk, and like I forgot the exciting young speaking person that I used to be.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I really actually forgot that person for a long time, until I gave my life to Christ, and then I started that realigning who I am based on my identity in Christ. So that was when I started, like, I was now readjusting myself to, okay, this is who God says you are. It doesn't matter what they say you are. And it's been a journey, and to a large extent, I would say that right now I self-regulate easily.
Wait, sis. See, we're still going to come there. You mentioned a lot of things now. One thing, you were an only child.
Yes.
So it was what I saw. I saw a video, you know, for your 40th birthday upcoming. Happy birthday in arrears, by the way. And that was when I saw that you said you were an only child. You shared a story about that you wanted to sponsor some people for IVF and all. And that was what caught me. Yes. I'm like, how does it feel to be an only child?
Now I would say that I think that's where the melancholy part will come in, because I'm like, okay, being alone. I don't have any problem being by myself. But being an only child is also sincerely a lot of for some people, they don't pressure, and I reacted well to the pressure. I didn't feel like I'm overwhelmed by the responsibility, but I felt like I need to show them that being an only child is not a disadvantage. So that was my reaction to being an only child. I need to let the people that were mocking my parents know that they did not suffer. God did not punish them by giving them only one child. Yeah, and that was my own reaction to it, because I remember seeing my mom visit my aunt, and sometimes in a recent conversation, my mom doesn't know that I remember these things. But you know, the way things are, they remain in your mind.
Same
you have some experiences. And my aunt, that's on my dad's side, was having a meeting with my mom. And in that conversation, they told me to step out. And my mom knelt down to greet. And from the kneeling down, she wanted to stand and say, she should just stand up. She should sit down. She kneel down there. You have just one child. You are now going to do this business. You are doing that business. Who's taking care of the child? As in, I saw my mom being washed and washed, and she cried. And we went home, and I know she still cried. And for me, it was a case of, this is not her fault.
Do you remember how old you were at that time?
I definitely know that I wasn't a teenager yet. I wasn't in secondary school. Yeah, I wasn't in secondary school. So I felt like it's not a sin. Like, she did not commit a crime. She just had one child, and she's hustling, so she should pack up and not live her life and be looking for children, which at some point she did. You know, shut down businesses because they said if you shut down, things might work out and all of that. You know, so but I felt like she was unnecessarily she pressured herself too much because of not having another child, and it sort of even she put me under pressure, because at some point in secondary school or university, when I was making some decision, I don't want to go back to school. She was like, you're the only child I have. How can you say you don't want to go back to school? Like, would you make any money? Who else is going to go to school for me? People would now say, you have just one child. You could not raise her well.
Hey.
She did not go to school. So I had those conversations very early. As early as I was 16, I was ready to marry, because everybody was saying, you're the only child, you need to give your children, your parents grandchildren.
Wow.
So like I knew that there was no wasting time. At 21, I already had somebody that gave me an engagement ring, and I was ready for marriage. It was just that it did not work out. At 22, I was already, like I did not. If you're not
preparing for,
you ask me out, can we marry? No. If you cannot marry, what are we doing together? I'm not here to waste time. No. I have responsibility. I need to give my children, my parents grandchildren.
Oh my God.
It was not a conversation around whether. All my thought was, you need to do this, and so I was very ready. I was very prepared. I was actively censoring every relationship through the lens of, is this somebody I can marry? And if I felt like you wouldn't fit into my, you're not someone I can actually marry, I wouldn't date such a person. Those are my experiences from being a single child. It was in my head. I think even writing my book, I just wrote a book, and in writing that book, I had to like dig into, because I was now asking myself a lot of questions, like, why do you think like this? Why like that? I had to go back to some of the conversations I had with my parents growing up and how they impacted on who I am. So in my book, I wrote about nature versus nurture, and I feel like by nature I am sanguine. I'm very, and the nurturing of my environment made me more melancholic, because there was just so much burden, and there was just so much pressure, and there was just so much prayer, vigils. There were too many issues that they needed to use spiritual insight to attack and all of that. I just felt there was just so much, and I sort of rebelled against some of them. Like, I don't believe in going to kneel down to a pastor to pray for you. In my entire life, I can count the number of times I've knelt down for a pastor to pray for me, because I saw my mommy, they laid hand deliverance. She did not still have any other child. So it's not really about the pastor's anointing. It's what God wants, and God is good. And still, He didn't give her another child. And she prayed, she fasted, went on. I don't think there's any mountain in the southwest my mommy did not go to. Every mountain, she was from one mountain to the other, and all of this, kneeling down, praying, sowing seeds, sowing last card as seed. And still it didn't bring what she was expecting. But I don't think it was a bad thing. I always feel like I don't need to do all of this mountain prayer, because mommy, you have finished all the prayer for the next 10 generations to come.
I always tell my mom the same thing. I always tell my mom that, mommy, you have prayed all the prayer. Please leave me alone. Wow. But that was such an interesting story. But what about your dad? What was the disposition of your dad towards that?
So my dad is very nonchalant. So he's the kind of person you just hear him once in a while. It's not the constant voice in your ear. It's just that one-off, just some one-line remark and all of that. I didn't see him, so he's not someone that gets bothered easily. My mom always yaps me, like I take that from him, because I don't really let things get to me as such, and I don't dwell on things. But that's who he is. It doesn't. If you like, the fire is coming down on him, fire is burning, okay, no problem, and he will just move. And I have that, but I also have my mom, who is, I will never give up, my mom of, God can answer me in my 50s kind of. So I have, like, my parents are very opposite in personality and disposition, and I sort of have like both of them. So my dad is more melancholic, my mom is very sanguine. My mom is everybody's friend. Okay, so I'll give you a story. I grew up in an estate, mile 2 estate, so it's like, those block of flats, and I'm walking back home from school, and my mom would be greeting everybody on the way. Me, I just face my road, and I don't see anybody. I'm just going. And then one day somebody just called me. And I just was like, you won't greet anybody. You will just be like, your mom is nice and warm, and you will not greet anybody. Why are you so much like your dad? I could never forget it, because it just stuck to my head. I'm like, well, I look like him because physically I have my dad's height. I'm like, I look like him, so it's not a problem if I'm like him. Mommy that will spend 1 hour greeting everybody on the road. That's not what I want to use my life to do. So I sort of had that contrasting experience growing up, and I think I organically just picked a bit of the two of them and bring it out as it pleases me per time, and sometimes unconsciously what I need just comes out, so I can deploy my, I think getting on TV actually made me get more outspoken than I was. I wasn't really that I could express myself, but being on TV made me connect with that more outspoken part of me. I think my husband always saw it because it was like, why did you go and do sciences? You should be on TV.
You did sciences?
Yes, I did.
What? What of the science? Which part?
Because I wanted to do documents. I couldn't have imagined everything. Like it was just a case of this is what's available. This is what everybody was saying. Okay, you're smart, you know sciences, go and do sciences and all of that. It wasn't really we're not thinking about personality and what will fit into what I could or what I shouldn't do. So for me, it was more of my dad was more of that quiet person. He wasn't much of talking, but I see him serve people, and my dad's I feel like I won't say his love language is act of service, but I know my dad goes out of his way to help people. Like he had a boss for a very long time, and because he used to be a furniture person, and the boss was everybody in church, they know that when you want to go somewhere, Alagba Ubela, you collect his boss, he would make it available for you. He would always, sometimes when they have it, their quarrel, they'll be like, you would be nice to everybody. When I now ask you for something, you won't do it for me, but you will do it for all our neighbor, everybody around you, help them. So that I know he always served in church, served people, show up for people. Till now, my dad is visiting his elders. Like he visits his elder siblings. I don't think he would do 1 week without visiting one of his elder.
Till now,
nobody is visiting them. Like he goes, it's a distance, and he'll be like, I need to go and check on my senior sister.
Wow.
I need to go and check on my senior brother. I want to check on my uncle. So that's him. I want to check on them to be sure they are okay. Well. This is what is going on. So I think that's they're very, very different. Sometimes I wonder how they manage they're extremely different. My mom is totally different, my dad is different, and it influences I think it's part of why I'm the way I am, because I can be like this and I can be totally different people, and it took me a while to get to understand and accept that, because some people felt like we don't even know who you are. Today you are smiling and happy, and then tomorrow you be like you don't want to talk to anybody, or like what we don't even know where to put you. You don't need to put me anywhere. It's not your business to put me anywhere. Your business is to accept me. And I struggled with that for a while, and I was a bit uncomfortable with that. Why can't I just be one person and just be excited all the time? No, that's not who I am.
So at what point did you come to a place of acceptance of that?
Full-grown adulthood. Full-grown adulthood. I think in my 30s, it was definitely in my 30s. I consciously started self-development at 30. Whoa, consciously, because I had like this epiphany, and I've said this story many times. I went to the US, I was in Arizona, it was my 30th birthday, and I was in the US, and I just was in my deepest melancholy moments. It was terrible. And the host family were like, oh, let's take you out for dinner. I said, let me just take a walk. And I went outside and I cried. And I cried. And I was praying. And I was crying. I think I was gone for over an hour, because they were, and I didn't have my phone with me. They were worried that, did she get lost or something? I didn't go for any hangout.
What happened? What triggered that feeling?
Like, this is 30, man. Oh, make Forbes 30 or that 30. I'm like, what have you done? You're in America, so you're feeling yourself. So you have achieved because you came to America. You have a car. Is that what your life is about? Nobody needed to tell me that. My inner critic was so loud. Like, settling. And then I was just praying, and I was just asking God. And I came back, and resumed on the show. And on that first show, we had Larry Olushola. Immediately I came back. Like, that was the first show I came back to. And he spoke about, he's doing NLP and
Life
coaching program and all of that. Many people go through this challenge. As he was just saying everything, he was like, it's TMO you're talking about. And then I signed up. Like, it was my last card. I took everything I had. It was over 200,000 naira as at then. That's 10 years ago. Gathered everything and sent to him. It was even with a bed because it was discounted.
Wow.
And I told him, see, this is what I have. Take it. He said he'll be in Lekki. I said, okay, I want to really be immersed. I took a week off the show and went to sleep over in my in-laws' house that was living in Lekki so that I'm close to
the venue.
The venue all through that 1 week. It was in that 1 week I sort of like started accepting myself, understanding myself, loving myself, and understanding that, hey, this is who you are. And if they don't get you, as long as you get you, you better get you, because they will come and tell you a lot of things. Today, I went on the show Ilea stuff, and I dressed up in native and got there and realized everybody else wore casual. And I changed, and they said, how would you change that? You should be confident enough to stand out. I say, hey, I'm confident. I just wanted to change. Don't put on a label that I want to. I'm not a conformist. I know when I want to conform. I know when I don't want to conform. I know my battles. I know the one I feel like, this one I want to stand out.
Yes,
I said, this isn't a big deal. And so I felt like I want to change. So let's not turn a situation into
a
label that is now, no, let's not do that. So that was all through that journey from 30. So yeah, going through the self-development journey made me understand myself a bit more, made me forgive myself for my mistakes, and understand that I'm not perfect. So I finished my OND. Not in public domain, but getting to
hear
it's going to come out. But people know, people that are close to me know. I finished my OND and I did science lab tech, and I went to do my IT in a medical lab. And after 6 months, I'm like, this is not my life. I don't want to do this. So I came back home and told my mommy, I'm not going back to do my HND. She said, please. And I'm like, I'm not going back to, except they'll give me something else. And I went there, they said, like, I have to finish in the same line. You started your OND, you must finish. I said, I'm not doing again. I'm not doing. And I was already doing makeup. I was like, I'm making money from doing makeup. Don't worry, I'll be all right. So.
And she agreed. And your dad?
It wasn't easy. We had a major battle.
Because I was going to say that.
We had a major battle, but I knew God enough then. I went, that was my SU season too. I wasn't wearing trousers. I wasn't wearing earrings
or makeup.
I had this SU season when I was like, souls are perishing. We need to save it. We need to wake up in the morning and go from door to door in the rooms, asking people to give their life to Christ and join Bible study and all of that. And I told mommy, God will sort me. I don't need to. This place and the idea of getting a certification just so that I will show you about the job is not what I want. I don't want to spend the next 3 years of my life doing a course I don't like. And I walked away, and I never went back. Never.
Where did that come from? That courage?
Till now I don't understand. But I told you I can cry just 1 hour. I'll walk away. I actually have that. I'll walk because I feel that I have just one life. I'm not going to. I love you. I respect you, but I will not leave it for you. I've had question my husband. I say, Oga, see, this is our life. We are together. Your decisions impact on me. You need to step up. Because I have just one life. And I think that's the mindset that I feel when we are 32. Because I have just one life, and I cannot leave it thinking traveling abroad, buying a car is the ultimate.
So what's the ultimate for you?
So we did this meditation and hypnosis during the NLP class, and we close your eyes, and then Isha did some abracadabra, and then said whatever word comes into your mind, write it down. People were actually writing a lot of things about trauma, and I wrote greatness. Why would you write greatness? He asked me. I said, because when I close my eyes, what I just see is you need to be great. I'm like, because my mom had put that into you don't have a choice. So for me, my conversation with her was to assure her that even if I don't go back and finish HND, I will do well. I'll be great. Yes. So don't worry. And so when I had the conversation in class, and it was everybody was crying, all of that, because we were going through, I remember I just cried from coming back. So I just still felt like, why am I crying? Because I feel like there's greatness inside me that needs to come out. And after that session, I wrote down, it doesn't have to be, before we do the big and mighty things, what are you doing now? So I wrote about going, teaching on social media. I set up my Facebook page then and started teaching online, sharing inspirational, motivational stuff.
Really?
Right from
then?
Then. That was,
10 years ago.
down, yes, I wrote down, this is who you are. You're a joyful person. You're not confused. Don't wear the labels people put on you. But there were some labels that were not just put on me. There were things I was doing that was wrong, and I didn't know.
What?
So I'm the kind of person that I would, I found myself at in between a lot of conversations. Oh, Mariah said something to you. TMO, you said it in the makeup. You said it to you. Nima said something and you said it. Nima said you said. It was someone that said it. I'm like, yeah, it's me that said it. I'm not denying I said it, but should I not have said it? Like, no, you shouldn't have said it. I said, oh. So I didn't know.
No.
But it was a moment of like, I didn't think it was a big deal. But like, no, you don't say those kind of things. So I had that happen back to back. That I had to sit down and ask myself, are you really sure that you are being as discreet as you can be? I won't even say I found that word until I did SALT with Mrs. Jumoke Adinowo, and she spoke a lot about being discreet. That see, there are things you never say. There are things you don't find yourself. You might. It's gossiping with all good intention, and you don't want to be in that space. You're not meant to be in that space. So I had to write down affirmations regarding being discreet, and I was saying it to myself, and I was saying, this is how they see me, but that's not who I am, and I am choosing to be this person who is very discreet, that can keep a secret and not say a word.
Whoa.
Yes, because that was a weakness I needed to take back on. And I also didn't understand boundaries. I didn't have siblings, so like,
yes, I was going to say that. Where did you think that talking a lot came from? Is it the openness?
Yes,
because you are the
I
only
don't
child.
Many people actually don't tell people when they are going to go for visa application.
Yes, but you,
I have no secrets. Everybody knows. As I'm filling the form, do you know I'm filling form to go to? Do you? Like, because everybody was my sister, and I felt like my heart is pure. So everybody should see that sincerely I do not wish you bad. I do not mean anything bad. Oh, but that wasn't how they saw it. It was a different thing, and I realized, oh, people don't see your heart. So you need to go out of you need to do what is socially acceptable. And then imagine doing that in
emotional intelligence, cultural intelligence, all of those
so
things.
I'm doing my makeup, and you can take my makeup and use it. I'm not bothered. Oh my goodness. If I take somebody else's makeup right there, it became major drama. And I'm like, this makeup is a pencil. It's not a big deal. Lipstick. Just clean it and use it. Oh, no. You don't come into my personal
space.
You don't take without permission. I was like, okay. At first, I felt it was a personal thing, but I just realized that it was me learning, and I learned.
As an adult.
As an adult, I learned this is how we relate with other adults. This is how, because I wasn't the most friendly. I didn't have cliques of friends all through growing up, so I didn't understand.
Blended with everybody.
I was just saying, and I'm still everybody's friend. I'm non-aligned movement. I'm for everybody. I'm
not for anybody.
But I made a decision. I think it was still within that's my last decade, that I wanted to have friendship, and I really wanted to have friendship. So I took a picture of Oprah and Gail and put it in my vision board, and God brought me a covenant friend like that, and I know that these things work. Writing who you are, writing the affirmation, you can rewrite your brain, you can rewrite your life,
program your
you
life,
can reprogram
yourself.
That's why I said my life, I rearranged my life at 30, and I am living in the reality of what I arranged, and it's been phenomenal.
Wow.
And I'm very, very, it's humbling.
Yeah.
There are bass. There are lots of tears in it. There are moments when I just feel like, is it because I'm so open to feedback that you just give it to me like that? Like, you just talk in a way that you would not accept, but Tope will not get angry, and then you just throw it in like that. And then I get back home and I reflect and I feel like, I didn't like the way this person said it. I didn't like it. No, I'm not a confrontational person at all.
That's a shock.
I have capacity to be.
That's a shock. I'm in shock.
I used to be a really major people pleaser. I don't want to fight with anybody. I don't have friends. So if you're my friend, I don't want you to fight. I was with my friend in America and I was crying. I said, you shouted at me. She can never forget. She's not easy to yab me. She mentioned it this year. He said, I know you that you will be. I'm very careful when I'm talking to you. I don't want you to start crying. Like, because I didn't have friends. And you're like my only friend. And then you were now talking to me like that. And you started, and I was like really crying. Like, I felt really bad. Then I didn't face, it was so confrontational. I went to cry my cry inside. Then I came back and I told her how I was feeling. And I told her that I felt really bad. And as I was saying, I started crying. And this is adult friendship. Like, we are in our 30s
at the time.
At the time, and I'm having a conversation that is about, if somebody else does this, I probably would rationalize it, but like I feel like you're my inner person. The way what you said, it entered inside.
It pierced me.
It pierced me, and I would express that, but you won't find me in a heated argument shouting at someone. No.
Did you think that came from being an only child?
Yeah, I think I never had to fight growing up.
You didn't
I didn't fight anybody. My kids fight themselves all the time, and sometimes it's like. And then my husband was like, my husband has 4 brothers. It's like they'll be fine. But for me, I don't feel like you have siblings. Do you know how I wanted siblings? I'll call them and be like, you have siblings, you must have each other's back. Why are you fighting your brother? I feel like I'm projecting.
Will be like,
it's not that deep.
It's not that deep, mommy.
I just playing.
He just did not lie. He just took my thing over.
But for me, I've taken it very far. I've taken it far to the fact that, do you know how powerful it is to have a sibling? Same blood. I don't have
Your children will just be like, mommy,
they don't get it.
Yes,
they will understand.
Yes, because
maybe if they grow up and they watch something like this, they'll be like, oh, that's why mommy is like that.
Yeah.
Hey, mommy, why
so at what age did you get married? Because since you were very ready.
Oh, I got married at 25.
Oh, okay. So
I was supposed to get married at 23.
What happened?
But so how the person I had like 3 serious relationships. Like I had 3 engagement rings my life.
Wait, at the same time?
No. As like when the ring, and then I'm like, it didn't work out, Sha. So my first love, my mom felt like this family, I was going to marry him. I was like, this is the love of my life. This is the person I want to spend my life with. Like, it was lyrics. It was, I'm not, money doesn't move me, but like, words of affirmation, act of service. Not really, but it was more words. He had the lyrics. So I told my mom, like, I'm going to marry him. Then my mom was like, who's this person? Hey, my daughter is not going to marry into that family. So for her, it was a family thing. There was nothing she did not do. She shouted, beats, cried, did everything. It didn't work. Next thing, she went to the mountain. Let me just tell you that the love disappeared from my heart. I'm telling you, I just lost interest completely. I just like, this is me that I was taking my pocket money and buying things for the family. I was taking food from the house to their house. They didn't have much, so it was like I would quickly carry a bono from the house and give them so that they will have a bono in their own house. Like, that was the kind of love I was beating, and I'm like, I was beating for this love. This is Mills and Bones love. I'm going to die here. And she went to the mountain. And she came back, and it was like, what's this? Like, I just totally lost every iota of interest in him. Like, it was gone. There was no English, there was no beg. He brought his mom to my house to beg and all of that. And I'm like, I'm not doing it again, I'm done. And that was it. So then I got into another relationship. And for me, I went back into, it was Muslim. But he was just a kind person. But I now had that, one youth retreat I went for in church. And they were like, unequally yoked. It was like the pastor was preaching to me. Some of you are dating a Muslim. You're saying because the Muslim is kind. You're saying because, as in, it was very, very direct. No, the voice of God was as like, it was like they were just pinching me all over. I just sat there and I came back home and I'm like, even my mom, with all her Christianity, really loved this guy because he was such a good person.
Wow.
But I also felt that I did not know what I was going to do in my life, but I felt it had to be, I have to be something big, Sha. I'm going to be something big. And so when I was asking him what he saw of me, it was like, oh, he was going to open one supermarket for me and he was going to buy me a car. And like in his mind, the supermarket was a big deal. Now, I did not have money for supermarkets. It wasn't like I had a car. But for in my head, I still felt like it was smaller than what I was meant to do with my life. So it just took it for, and I broke it off. And then I now met my husband.
How did you meet him? Let's even start with that.
Oh yeah, it was in a
because,
bank.
You know, really?
Surprisingly,
okay.
It was a really chancy, divine moment because you know there's a GT Bank beside the Star Christian Center.
Yes.
That was where our meeting took place. No jokes, guy. I went into the bank for a transaction. He went to the bank for a transaction. We met in the bank-ish. I didn't really pay attention. Then I came outside. He had this jalopy Mercedes car that was now waiting for me when I came out of the bank to give me a ride. I said, oh, you can drop me at the junction. I'm going home. I'm going to Mile 2. That I would from there take a bus to Ikeja and then from Ikeja go home. And the sun was really hot. So I said, let me just enter this car. Oh my God. He now said, I don't, he's going to Computer Village. That I can follow him to Computer Village. I sat down inside the car. The AC was not working. I was sweating. I'm like, okay. So I sat down there and we were talking. That was how we got to Kudeso Street and the car packed up. And I could not leave him.
First meeting.
Yes, I could not leave him because how can you meet somebody
and then
the
abandon
them? So I sat down there. They were hitting the top of the battery. They were doing all those drama. I shall stayed there. Apparently, that was my wife material test.
Oh,
I did not know.
You didn't know.
But for him, he said when he saw me sweating like that, he was like, "This is my wife." Wow. I don't know that it is by suffering that you will judge me to be your wife. But I have enjoyed the marriage, so I cannot complain too much about the suffering of the beginning. But we met in such a chancy moment. And then I told him I was attending this time. He said, "Yeah, attends this start too." I'm like, "I'm working in this." I was like, "Oh, he doesn't work, but like he attends the church and all of that." So we started meeting Wednesday service, and voila, what convinced me. He registered my business. He got a graphics designer to do company logo. We did flyer. I'm like, hey, this is the kind of
person I want, the greatness that we're talking about. Because even now, I see you guys, you understand, meetings, personal development programs, which is very rare. You know, this is Africa now. Yeah. You understand that you see husband and wife, they'll be going for conference, retreats, all of those things.
Like,
yes, we saw that. We have to clap for you people. See the couple, a blueprint of how, you know.
It was the raw material was always there, you know. So for me, that was most important. My parents didn't see it. Funny enough, they didn't understand. It wasn't Yoruba. He didn't speak Yoruba. He didn't have money. You know, like you want to go and suffer that kind of thing. But I took a decision. I was a bit concerned too, honestly, and I went on a personal retreat. I went to Redeem Camp.
Okay.
I think I was 24. It was just before Christmas, and I was going to be 25. And I had already said 25 is the
year.
If we're not going to do, let me just move on. I love you, but if it's not going to work, it's not going to work. So we move. So I went to Redeem Camp, and I had like a 3 days fasting and prayer. Was it 3 days or even 7 days? I can't remember. But it was just like I was just praying. It was just a case of God. I want to be sure you are in this. I want to be sure you are in this. Like, I'm going to go and give him ultimatum, and if it does not, if we're not doing, just let it just end. You know, like the scripture of let this sheepskin be wet and this one be dry. I know you are there. That was the moment for me. So I came back and I told him, I said, I'm entering a new year, and I just feel like we can't continue. This will be our 3rd year of relationship, and there's no need for us to be doing all of this. Like, I don't want to enter this new year as I'm in a relationship. Is either I know I'm getting married or I'm not getting married. So if I'm not getting married, I want to go for crossover service and ask God, Father, bring me my husband this year.
Hey, what an ultimatum.
And I guess he was like, no, he had discussed with his brother, he had discussed with his mom, he had discussed, though, that is not like anything, though, that he was just waiting to gather money. I said, no, in life we move by faith. If you are ready, go and meet marriage counselor, go and get the form and let's start.
Wow, you have always been this straightforward, direct woman.
Yeah, and let's go and do what we want to do. If I'm not able to do it, let me know that I'm entering this new year as a single woman. I'm single, I'm out there, anything can happen. But you know, when I'm in a relationship with you, I cannot see other options. They cannot see me. So free me if you're not ready, so that I can see options can see me. End of 2009. By 2010, we have married.
The man say lie, this girl is not going anywhere.
I just felt like, and I think my parents were really, really concerned.
So how were you able to overcome all of that?
Also, I think
their concern.
There's a huge lesson in my waiting period. We married in November, but you know, like, I wanted to do it before my 25th. So that target was very, very firm. I wanted to get married before May, my birthday. So I needed also start marriage counseling
6 months before, because that's how they do it in our church. They start.
So that was how they said your parents needed to sign on the form.
That's what they say in
and
church.
The parent did not sign, and I was like, if you don't agree, I will do this thing without you. That's how Bradiji Abago said, we will not do it without them.
Yes,
you need to go back and do them. I say, no, but they're not saying it. They're being ethnic. What's the word? Like they are being tribal, tribalistic.
Yes.
No, but he said in our church,
that's how they do.
You cannot marry without parental consent. So you need to go and whatever you need to do. And he followed me to see my parents, had a meeting with my mom. Bradiji Abago was my area coordinator. I was a section leader then. He was my area coordinator. Yes. So we've had history.
Wow.
So he went to see my mom separately, saw my dad separately, tried to understand what their concerns were. Had a meeting with me, asked me again, are you sure? I said, I pray though. I am very, very sure. I even had a conversation with Pastor Niya this time. I was still a pastor in this time then. And you know, everybody was concerned because I'm a church girl. And they're like looking at Mr. Mark and wondering, this guy's face looks very hard.
Very strong.
This guy's face looks hard. This guy will take care of this our small girl, this only girl. And they're like,
is the age difference so much?
He's 10 years older than me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they were like, you know, they are just concerned. Are you sure you prayed? I'm praying for you. I say, sir, I prayed. I'm very convinced. If you prayed and you're very convinced, don't worry, your parents too will align. So he coached me. What do you need to do? What are the things you don't do at home? Start cooking. Start kneeling down in the morning. We didn't have that kind of relationship where you be kneeling down to be greeting my parents in the morning. I just greet them. They say, no, you know what you want? Kneel down. Do you wash your parents' clothes? I say no. I never washed it. He said, wash your daddy's clothes, carry his clothes, wash it. I felt like
this is so interesting.
Because like I didn't used to do those kind of things. You know, and I started washing my parents' clothes with humility. You know, because you want to marry.
Yes.
I washed.
Weren't they shocked too?
They were. Those are the things that convinced them that I really displayed a level of maturity that I wanted this. You need to have money. I started saving. Baraki Alabi is a music video director.
Yeah.
I was doing makeup for him. I was his makeup artist. And then I was gathering my money, and God was now bringing lots of music video. 350k as at then. I gathered money. They could not believe it. I said, Mommy, I have 350k. They were like, you have? I said, yes, ma'am. I've been saving everything. What does he have? I said, he doesn't have anything, but I have what we can do introduction and start, you know. So they finally signed off, which was why the wedding now ended up being in November. Because I had to humble myself, and that humility was very necessary for my marriage.
Oh, how is
because
that?
I didn't understand my level of I'm confident, and I'm so confident that I can I do what I want to do. I know what I want to do. It's not going to work if I'm married.
You cannot. My sister, you cannot.
You cannot. You need to there are things you want to do that you cannot just do.
Yes.
Even with the most supportive husband.
Yes.
You need to have a conversation.
Absolutely.
You need to be humble. You need to, there are things that I did not have I wouldn't have had the diplomacy to handle if I didn't face that challenge before marriage. So it was a necessary lesson for me to learn it was a major training period. It was a God moment ahead of my marriage, and I feel like he was very divine. So I understood waiting for what you want. I understood that it's not everything that you just set target for and you get it like that. It's not, you can't give God appointment time and you would say God should do it. I also understood provision, divine provision coming in, because they were looking at it like he had money, but he had people, because he has sown seeds. And I'm like, he's getting married. They were just 150 check here. People were just showing up in a very amazing way for him. And that's, he actually has people know, you know. So I felt like, see what I'm saying. Let me give you 10 years into our marriage. I think it was Pastor Nee's 50th birthday.
Yes.
Party, Pastor Bradiji and Atinike were there, and they have not seen Mark, because they always do first service, so I will do second or third. So they've not seen Mark for a while. So they saw Mark. Bradiji hugged my husband and was crying. Oh. It was like, he said, I was so worried for Tokme.
Oh my God.
I was so worried. He said, God bless you. He was praying for.
Can you imagine?
He was praying for my husband and praying for my husband. It was like, that I was worried. I was praying. He said, Abidike. I was like, you know, like, it was that the wife was corroborating the story that my husband was so worried about this marriage that I hope Tokwe really knows what she's doing. I'm praying that God will open up her eyes and, you know, assure her, because my husband wasn't churchy, so it was just very strange. And I was churchy, like I was doing all services.
Wow.
Yes, I was doing all services, and I was coming from Mile 2. It was a distance.
Yes, now Mile 2 to Oregon.
It was a distance. It was like, I was serving. I had my fellowship in my house. We opened 3 fellowships under there was no fellowship in Mile 2. I opened the first fellowship in Mile 2, opened fellowship in Festac. I will go to Festac to go and check fellowship going on there. We had outreach. We went to Badagry. You know, like, I was serving. So they knew this person is vested, and they did not, you cannot afford to make.
Yeah, so you cannot just come and pick somebody like that.
Yeah, they can't just let you go like that. They were really worried, but it was just a very, as I was like, but like, why are you crying? He said, you don't understand. That's the time I'll see you in church when you had the tweet, and I'll be praying. I'm just so praying for you. So I know that I'm a product of multiple prayers.
Yes.
I was listening to Apostle Joseph, and I said, you need to walk with the confidence that you carry the mantle of God's favor, like you. So it's not ordinary.
Yes.
You know, and
Absolutely.
so sometimes when I have some conversation with people, I'm like, don't compare, because I know that I'm not a prince that is not aware that he's a prince. Because, you know, a prince that is not aware he's a prince would live like a slave.
Yeah.
But I am a prince, I'm a king that is aware of my kingdom. I know that there is someone up there, the most powerful person in the world, who is actively watching my life and saying, this way, that way, separating things, arranging things, and he is actively working for me. And I know, I see it, that I am. It doesn't mean I don't cry and feel disappointed.
That's normal. That's normal human experience.
It doesn't mean that I don't ask God, like, God, this is not how we discussed it. Like, this isn't what I expected. But even in those moments, even in my tears, I had a miscarriage. It was bad. After
before
my
the twins?
Before the twins I was still very small. I didn't really understand. But after the twins, I had another one. And when I went to do the test, you know what? Like, I've had twins. I prayed for twin boys, and I had twin boys. So I'm like, I don't want to get pregnant so soon. I did family planning, waited 3 years. Then I said, now I'm ready. I removed family planning. I prayed before removing, prayed after removing, fasted, named my child. Then I got pregnant. Like, you know, when God just
everything just aligning.
Oh. Then I went to do test, and they said, blighted womb, there's no baby there. I said, I'm not understanding. No. Pastor Nike had preached that they said he was five and he became a baby.
Yes.
I do not take your word for it. Whose word would you believe?
I shall believe the report of the Lord.
So I left the hospital and went home. And I was praying, and I was praying, and I was declaring the word. And at a point, I was like, I don't even have cramps. What are they saying? I'm not feeling anything. I'm like, okay. let me do check again after all the prayer. They said no different. I think maybe it's the laboratory I went to. Before going to another laboratory, let me go to, I've never been to MFM before. That's my one and only time in MFM. I went to MFM because this is not redeem camp level. This is MFM.
Die by fire.
This is MFM prayer point.
Wow.
So I went to MFM and I registered, stayed in the hotel room, and I went for the first vigil, and I couldn't pray the prayer point. No castigation against MFM members. I just couldn't relate to the witches and wizard that is not making you have your child and all of that. I'm like, I know there's no witch and wizard that can operate on my life. You know, so I couldn't pray those prayer points. So I just stepped away from the group prayers and did personal prayer and prayed and prayed. Since I went back to the room the next morning, I saw blood for the first time. I was like,
no,
this is not what we discussed. No, not when I'm on the holy ground, prayer mountain, everything. I did it 3 days. I did not see any blood again, so I went back to work, and I'm like, we have victory. By the end of the week, I'm going to go and do scan. I think by Tuesday, I was in my friend's office. His name is Akiadeola Fusi. I sat down and I was gisting with him. Next thing, I just felt pain. Poof! Like blood everywhere on his chair. It was in TVC. Blood was everywhere. I'm like, why am I bleeding like this? And I'm not supposed to be bleeding. I'm pregnant, you know. And I was still vomiting. Like I was feeling all the symptoms of pregnancy. So I don't understand why. He had to rush me to the hospital. They said it was I'm going through evacuation that is coming out by itself and all of that. Did you have any symptom before? I said no, I didn't have any cramps. Long and short, that came down. I was not normal. You know, like I could not understand it. God, no. Like you know, this. You know, we had a conversation
agreement
before I removed the family planning. You gave me the pregnancy. You know, I prayed. I'm on this. Like this is not what we expected, and I can't understand why I would have a miscarriage. It just doesn't make sense. And I fell into this deep. I was just so sad. I was like at the point. And I don't talk. I'm talking to anybody. It's me and God. I don't talk to any. All to this one. I don't pray with any pastor or anything. Like I told you, I'm not. I don't go and meet pastors to pray for me. I pray. Me and God, we have conversation. And I was just praying, and I just felt so sad. Like, what is this? Why would this happen to me? This is not my reward for service. You know, like no, this is not it. And my husband was like, we already have twins, so like why you
calm down.
Like it shouldn't hit you. Like if you don't have any other child, you know you are okay. I'm like, no, this is not what I wanted. And I like every period now became a milestone.
Oh God, like I know that feeling.
Every period, and when I sit, I'm like, I'm not even gotten pregnant again. Yeah. And another month, I'm not getting pregnant again. How can you now do this? You took one pregnancy and then you did not give me another one. Wow. Then I started eating folic acid, drinking everything, like preparing my body, you know. And at a point, I think it was 4 or 5 months after the miscarriage, just to go like, see, if you don't give me another child, I will serve you because you are God and you have done enough. You have done amazing things. Because like I think I even had a conversation with someone that is waiting. I couldn't even tell the person what just happened to me, like how much I'm overreacting to the miscarriage, because that person had been waiting for about 10 years. I was with her a few months ago in the US. So our children are the same age. Oh. So she was like, she now told me that I should not worry, that there's nothing God cannot do. That she has told God that she's not doing any IVF again. No. That if God does not give her the
natural naturally, she's done.
She was done. So she wasn't doing it again. That she has told God. So I went back home and I said, see, this is a woman much older than me. She has not had any child, and she's telling God, I will serve you, I will love you. Like that was what she was telling me. I will serve God, I will love God. If he doesn't give me any child, I will be okay. And me, I was busy negotiating with God, like
you just be feeling guilty.
I came back home too and just told God that, see, I will serve you, I will love you, doesn't matter. And the next month I took it.
Can you imagine?
And 2 months after, she took it. It was a miracle. The doctors were like, did she do another IVF? Because they've done several surgeries on her. They said it was impossible for her to have a child biologically
God.
normally. It has to be only IVF. And she said she had done several IVF. It's
And
failed. She would even get pregnant. She would lose the pregnancy. She was like, she's done. And I had that conversation that she said she was done. And if less than 3 months after, she got pregnant.
Surrender.
As in the power of
Surrender. That's it.
It is such a
It is.
powerful
That's
thing.
it. That's the
It is not the
explanation
most
for
easy
it.
thing for me to
Yeah.
do. Tell you.
Yeah, because of your temperament and your
I
expectations.
want to do. I put myself under a lot of pressure. I
Pressure.
want to do a lot of things. So not doing something is not easy. Letting things go, accepting myself for not doing something is a journey. It's a journey. It's like, oh, you said you were going to do something, you did not do it. You know, I sort of like hold myself accountable to a large extent that you need to do. You don't have a choice. You cannot fall your hand. You cannot. There are too many people waiting. I don't even know what the people are waiting.
Yeah, so that's it. So, but I think it's that only child thing. Yeah,
Yes.
because I was going to ask you too that they said an only child will spoil them. Were you spoiled?
I think I had
Like
a very balanced carrot and stick approach.
Okay, you didn't get away with a lot of things like they will say. An only
I
child
wasn't.
will.
I didn't do house chores
Okay.
much.
Why?
I didn't like it and I escaped. And my mom is very hardworking.
Oh.
So I'm like I said my children will work because I'm lazy.
I'm like that.
But-
That's what I tell them. Too.
So, but my mom was very hardworking. So I'm washing plates. I'm like doing like this. Some people go like, "Fumila boy," she wash it by herself and everything. When you say sweep the floor, I just hold my hand like this. I know that she will collect it. That's why I was playing. I'm sure she does not know how much I was consciously doing what I was doing. I just do my hand like this, like, my back. And I was doing, she just collect the broom and sweep it. So in terms of doing house chores, it was one of the things she was using. My mom had a meeting with my husband and told my husband that to dissuade him from marrying me, Tope cannot cook, she cannot clean. Like she made a list of, no, I'm not joking, sis. She made a list of everything. That said, Tope will not cook. She cannot clean the house. She cannot cook. And she's like that. She cannot cook. She doesn't know how to greet anybody. She sort of listed all my flaws. I wasn't even there.
Africa
my husband now,
parent, oh my
then we're dating. He now told me, he said, your mom has demarketed you seriously. That your mom told me, I told her that I'm aware. I can cook.
So, but why was he not dissuaded?
He can cook. And I don't know, for whatever reason, those were not deal breakers.
Yes,
for
he saw
him.
something bigger.
Yes, so but really, when I got married, my husband cooks better than me. I wasn't really, I'm not the cooking, cleaning the house person. At the earliest time possible, I got a maid to augment and save me those stress. But back to being spoilt. My mom handled the house chores and all of that because I just always dodged doing them. But I wasn't spoiled in terms of being disciplined in values. So as I said, I had carrot and stick. I was spoiled for housework, cleaning the house. I can stay in my room. She will leave my room. This is your room. You'll be dirty. I will not clean it for you. You clean it yourself. I'll just shift my clothes on one side of the bed and just lie down. The entire bed is rumpled. I just shift the clothes and just lie down on one side. I'm like, Tope, you slept on this bed.
On this same bed.
This is my room.
Is my body.
Leave it the way it is. She left those ones, but she didn't spoil me in terms of values. She was disciplined in terms of like, my only child, you mustn't become wayward. You mustn't become loose. You can't become everybody's. Like I said, it was mild too. It was like barracks.
Yeah.
I had neighbors that were pregnant before they finished secondary school.
So why wasn't that your lot?
There was no option. It was impossible. Like, how would you? From where? They were not accepted. I couldn't even date anybody within in this area. You can't date here. My mom was clear that she doesn't want you to become the one that one will now say, I slept with her last year. I slept with her 2 years ago. That you don't want that. That they'll be counting it for you. That there's no other way to look at it, because we all knew the ones that they broke up, that we thought they were going to marry, they did not marry. And we know everybody. From your window you can see the one that is entering that person's flat. Are you seeing flat here? Flat 12, Bushim flat 12 every evening he's entering flat 12. All of us know she's entering
flat 12.
Then we will know the time she stopped entering flat 12. that the relationship is over, and then we now know that she's now entering flat 2. Yes, that's where she said. So that's the way. That was how.
So it was very clear.
That wasn't
Oh,
going to be my,
yeah,
that wasn't going to be my reality. And my mom took ownership of every other person's child that she knew, and she was very vocal about it. My mom would see somebody wearing a black shirt and say, "Take 1,000 naira, Laura, white boss shirt here for me. Uma wear black shirt lale on the street so that car will not jam you. Remove that shirt, give it to me. Take money, buy another shirt. Don't be wearing black shirt at night." To a random neighbor.
Wow.
I was in the US 4 years ago, and someone gave me money to give my mom. I think it was $100. I can't remember the guy. The guy said that, "Omo iya Joe, that your mom will call me, will pray for me. Like that's what the boy was telling me.
Oh my God.
Like, your mom will call me, she will sit me down and say, your mother is a your mother is a yajo. Like, don't be doing like this. And she will give me money. She will like, so it was giving me blow by blow. And I've met several people like that. My mom had just one child biologically, but she raised many
children.
She raised many children, and I'm happy that those children, a few of them, actually acknowledge her impact on their life. They collected the numbers. I was like, he's not chatting with me. He's in America. I said, yes, I'm the one that gave him your number. I said, oh no, I said, I am, you know, that kind of, so like,
yeah,
so it was
so
for
happy.
her. It was values that she was more concerned about. That she didn't want that child that everybody. And there were temptations. There were people. I was a lesson teacher to one of my neighbors, and I couldn't rationalize it. I'm your neighbor. I live in flat 4. You live in flat 10, and you are asking me out, and I'm teaching your children lesson in your house. I know your wife. Like, men can be very funny, you know. So like, I could not understand. You want to do anything, you
go out,
like embarrass yourself like that with me, you know. So I told my mom, my mom went to go fighting. I have just one child. You want to spoil my life?
I can imagine. I can relate.
I say, one of my mom had brought OPC to my boyfriend. My boyfriend's house, my first boyfriend. Then his house is really farther. When extension mile 2, I felt like it was far enough from the house now that they can allow me the relationship. My mom found out that I was in his house. My mommy brought OPC and came to the house and said, "Tokpe, I hear you are up there. Calm down." She called my phone. I said, "Mommy, I'm in school." She said, they told me you are up there. Calm down before we come and break the door. That's how we're peeping through the window. And we saw her, and we saw that she had some big men behind her.
Jesus.
So I came downstairs. I was still in love, you know. I know girls now. The drama was plenty. She called my boyfriend's mom and lashed that, "What kind of woman are you?
Wow.
You will let my own, you know she's my only child, and you allow her come to your house, and you could not tell me you are a, you know, like you are a wicked person." She reported to the association. She was supplier. The man, everybody knew. No, that my mom took it was like a wicked person. How can you know that your son is dating my daughter and she comes to your house and you not say anything? You're a wicked person. Even the one that found me crossing the road and not say anything, you didn't want me to discover that you saw my daughter crossing the road so that car would jam her. You did not tell me. There was a day I stood by the express like this. I just got a phone call. Go bridge. I was like,
who told you? Your mom?
My mom, because somebody
had called
her that was to cross the express.
She doesn't want to climb bridge, oh. Yeah, come and see your child.
So I did not.
So there was no way.
There was no room.
So how does that affect your parenting now?
I'm a more relaxed parent. I think I'm trying to do opposite of what she did, and I'm overdoing it. I feel that way sometimes. But because I feel that while it is important to provide all those protective measures, I understand that it was the stories she told me that were most important. The stories of, you don't want to be the laughing stock of everybody. You don't want them to look at you and say, that was what stuck with me.
Not the action, the protective measures. Yeah.
So I remember there was a time she said, close your eyes, that people that do abortion and die, they will not see anything. Can you see anybody? I said, no, you will not see anybody. Close your eyes. What can you see? you will not see anybody. Nobody will see you. Nobody will see when you're doing the abortion. But when you go to, that's how you will not see anything again. And the person that made you do the abortion will continue and date another person and marry. That story stuck to me. I mean, it's my life. If you, the man will move on, but I'm the one carrying the.
Okay.
So the stories were more important for me. I'm trying to find ways to inculcate those stories into my parenting, because I felt that the beating, and I was beaten a lot. But the beat at the time when they beat you and you be like, it's not my mom. But you now look at her face.
Yeah,
and
millennials can relate. I told so many people my mom is not my mom. She must be my stepmother. My mother died. They did not tell me.
The beating was plenty.
Wow.
Why? What did I do? This beating is too much, you know. But the beatings were not the thing. It was the stories. It was the moments where she made me understand that, and she kept telling me like, no, this is not. You are not. This Maltu is not your life. Maltu, your life is more than this Maltu. If you want to date, go and date far outside. Don't be here, born here, and you. He said, so you see, when anybody gets married, that they intermarried with him, the story will start. That one, he was born in block 1. He married somebody in block 3. Now they are giving birth.
Block 10.
Like, so is this that there is life beyond
this
community? Explore it. Don't end here. And those were powerful seeds for me. So my mom's stories, the Bible stories, were very key part of my drive and hunger. That no, I'm not going to. There's a whole lot more to my life. There are many destinies
that are tied to you, and you did that in your 40th birthday, because it was that video, it was that conversation that you were sharing. You wanted so why do you want to support people, you know, waiting? Was this where it came from?
No, so yeah, it came to a large extent. The desire to support people waiting came from my parents' story.
Okay.
Because after asking them questions, I realized that there were some medical conditions that they had, that they discovered, that required medical intervention, like IVF. But the cost made them just realize that God, if we don't have the money, God will show up. And so we faced God.
So they had to resort to God.
And I have heard several stories of people who they prayed, they had God, but it was God used the IVF for them. So I know that there is God in IVF, and so if money is the only reason you're not able to do it, then money should not be the reason you don't have a child. So it was extremely important for me to help, and then I volunteered with Quiverful for a couple of years. I've been volunteering for them, mainly because Auntie Catherine also Nike waited for years.
Yes.
So she started the ministry called Quiverful. So I was their MC. I MC for all the conference from inception. I've been the MC. I always do that for them. So I hear the stories, and I've seen that there are people waiting, that they are hoping that money will be enough and money will get to them, and the money has not gotten to them yet. So the 2 years ago, Antineke was like, oh, that they pre-qualified this number of people, but only these people could get treated, and the other people that are dancing Thanksgiving, they are dancing with the prayer that God will help us raise the fund to do this. So as I was counting down towards my 40th, I think I was 39, and I went for this retreat, and they told us to meditate and close our eyes, and I was just meditating, praying, and all of that. And my visualization was, I saw pregnant, like I was like, oh, there are pregnant women, and like pregnant women all around, and they were like, oh, you were the one that funded. So I'd been donating little by little before, but I'm like, this year let's push to do more. And the response has been huge. So you know, when God, when you, how you know that is a divine idea is when you see sometimes divine ideas have challenges.
Yes.
We haven't raised enough funds right now.
Yes.
But we've gotten so much support on that journey that I feel like it has taken a life of its own, and that it was definitely meant to be, and I'm grateful to be the vessel that spurred that, because Quiverful was Antineke was telling me that this is the first time they are getting this much funds. They have never ever in the years gotten this much inflow of funds. So
how does that make you feel?
Oh God, It's fulfillment. It's a huge. It's a. I wanted to buy myself a car for my 40th, and I was like, oh, madam, I want to buy a car, and I just told myself like, mm-mm. The key thing you wanted to do is to fund this 40 families, put that money, sow the seed. So instead of what I was going to be as the deposit for the car, I dropped it in a quiverful foundation, and I felt such joy.
Yeah,
you know,
that's what
and
purpose does.
yes. So I strongly feel I'm living a life in alignment. I've felt that way for a long time, and my heart goes out to those who are still trying to find their way, and I pray that they would get the knowledge needed to get into that alignment. But I know that I am aligned. I know that I have too many. There's no coincidence with God. There's some things that just happen to me that I'm like, no. Them say the blessing when you do Ojoro, you know, this Ojoro, just continue to do it for me. No. That's the way I feel. So I would continue to put God first. I'll continue to put his plans first. I'll continue to put his desires first. And I know that I know for a fact that seek ye first is a principle that works. Every other thing would follow. There's no better way to pray for my children than to help other people's children. My children cannot be lost. It's impossible because I am sowing the seed to help others. So I am very, 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 very conscious of it, and I strive as much as possible to live according to those principles, in alignment with those principles. When I feel off, I know that, okay, you are off because you have taken your eye off the get back. You would find joy when you focus on the main person.
Your life is so inspiring. I need you to know. I'm telling you, because I watch you on your view. When you watch people, you wouldn't know what they're about. You just admire. I've always let me just say it today. I've seen most of your styles that I see. Yeah. Like when I'm looking for styles to sew, there are some people I go on their pages. You're one of them. I go because I see that you're very fashionable. So I go. I'm like, okay, I know we don't have the same stature, but she still has curves too. Like me, that it would fit and stuff like that. So you would not really know people. You get. I said. And we've met in different places. I'm always saying this woman, personal development. She's a personal development junkie. We're always meeting, somewhere. And I saw it was that post of being an only child. I'm like, oh my God. Look at this woman that looks larger than life. You understand? Doing a lot of things. And I'm just so grateful for how you turned out.
Yeah, grateful to God.
Yes, because some only child or children, you don't know what they become. It's money that they'll be using to carry them. So people, I know some that ended up in rehab, or you understand, on drugs and all of those things.
I need to tell you this story.
Okay.
So, and here is how you can take a spin on something that was meant negative. Because my parents had a few properties.
Okay.
And I think there was just one time my dad was like, maybe I'm looking at his house or the land. I didn't reply him because I wasn't brought up to talk back at adults. But my spirit was, everything inside me was like, every property that you own, I have no expectation that this is mine, it's yours. My mom had gold, my mom is a landlord, my dad is a landlord. But I never, ever lived with that mindset that I have inheritance somewhere.
How would you have that kind of thought?
I don't know, because I think my dad, maybe on a day, was angry, taunted me with it. And I just made up my mind that mi ò fẹ́, àti ilé yẹn mi ò fẹ́. I will do much more than that. I don't need it. You can sell, because this was what he said. He said before he dies, he would sell property and spend the money. And in my mind, I'm like, please go ahead. And
now you're into real estate. Was that what made you go into real estate?
I don't even know. But like right now, do what if you want to sell, you can sell. I thought maybe just sell and enjoy yourself. But I don't joke with them. I don't joke with my parents. If there's any monetary need, no, anything. I don't want them to feel like they lack anything.
Yeah, I saw that you took them to
and
Dubai.
they must not lack
too.
any, like in my head there's a consciousness of my parents must not lack anything, not because they have one child. Would they say they can't go to the hospital? My mom will be like, but your dad is always going to the hospital. I say, mommy, let him go, there's no problem, I'll pay, let him go. If he needs to go to the hospital, he should go. It's all your money. I say, mommy, if you need to go,
leave him.
We will check and take care of you. Anything, just be comfortable. You will not lack anything because you have just one child. It's not just one. God has given you what you need. That is, I just wanted to.
Wow, that is so mighty. You're like 10 children in one.
I cannot afford not to be.
Wow, like, and that's what I keep saying, that you turned out to be this inspirational is for me. You get what I mean? Like, some people will hold on to because my parent did not, because I didn't meet this at home, because that one. But look at all the things you have done, all the obstacles that are supposed to derail you. But look at how you have stepped on them, used them, and now you are there and you are empowering people too. Yeah, so I know you haven't, because I saw your conference and I'm like, this is such a big conference, and you told me now it's free. You are helping people, mentoring the younger ones. God bless you, sis.
Amen.
God bless you. God strengthen your work.
Amen.
God put his hand on you more, because
Amen.
you are such a visionary, and there will be so much that will come from you and help a lot of people. Thank you. I'm so honored that you shared this story with me. It's inspiring for me.
Thank you.
You know.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, you have heard. You cannot just say, it's because I'm an only child, I don't have anybody that would help me, I did not do this, I did not do that. Everything that you are given. I like what she said about our parents, that God gave you what you need, even though that's not what you wanted. So even if you're listening now, maybe as a parent, while we are waiting, or you have only one child, God has given you that thing that you need. Spin it, use it for good, and trust me, it would always end up well. And I am so grateful. Thank you. I hope you have learned from TMO. That's what we call our Talk with Marco DJ. And it's been such a very, very scintillating episode, such a very inspirational in my book episode. So, ladies and gentlemen, subscribe to the channel, share to people so that they can learn, they can be inspired, they can grow, they can learn, they can decide to rewrite their story. See, look at what she said. From 30 years old till now, she's 40. Your life can change. Thank you for watching. See you on the next episode. Bye for now.
How they healed, how they rose, shattered dreams to where love grows. Strength within, they didn't yield. The world now sees how they heal. Fingers tremble, reaching inside to heal the places where shadows hide. Heartbeats low, where anthem beats.